Okay, so Ticketbis is an online platform where users can buy or sell tickets to events worldwide. So this kind of business is relatively new and unknown to some countries. However, in US, has been around for over a decade. Ticketbis started in 2009 and became a market leader in its first year. And so due to this success, the company began a huge internationalization process. Since the beginning, Ticketbis has been increasing not only its turnover year by year, but also the contact centers and the number of employees. So this was in fact one of the reasons that led us to the implementation of the virtual assistant. As we grow, we need to improve our efficiency managing the resources we have. So how does it work? The seller goes to our webpage, he searches the event he wants to sell tickets for, he sets his price. Then the buyer selects the tickets for the event he wants to attend, he completes the payment, and the seller receives a confirmation email. Then the tickets are sent out for delivery. To ensure the ticket's validation, the seller only receives the payment after the event. So Ticketbis guarantees two simple things. One of them, the buyer can be sure that he will receive his tickets on time, and the seller will receive his payment after the event. So since this kind of business is somewhat unknown to the majority of users, we started to notice that the contacts that we were receiving were related to simple issues like registration, what is Ticketbis, how to buy tickets, payment methods, deliveries, how to contact Ticketbis. And as you can imagine, these kind of contacts can be very repetitive. And although these answers are obviously on the web page, the users have some trouble finding them. So our agents were spending a lot of time dealing with these simple, repetitive questions instead of solving a real problem and a real issue to the customer. So repetitiveness and agent response efficiency were two factors that we took into account when developing the assistant. Before in beta, our main support channels were email, Twitter, frequently asked questions on the web page, click to call in video, just to our sales team. It allows the buyer to see what the salesperson is showing him, like prices or seats, and the live chat. The live chat was actually a new project that we have developed in 2015. We always had the live chat, but we never had a team that worked exclusively on it, and we had really great results with it. So this leads us to the next question, to why change, why use an intelligent virtual assistant? We found out that the assistant used a messaging style of conversation like a live chat, and it should be no surprise that the customer really like it and enjoy how easy it is to use. With this assistant, the customer has control of their data, of his data, and he's in control of what he needs. And we felt like this was a necessity to any customer on Ticketbis. So we designed our assistant based on 5 reasons. The first one, to increase sales and conversion rate. To have an assistant is to offer to the consumer a better experience. So it is natural to think about sales increase. Second, due to the growth and fast expansion of Ticketbis. As I said earlier, as we grow, we need to work in our efficiency, managing our resources, especially the huge amount of contacts that we were receiving every day. Third, to provide 24 hours availability to our contact center. We used to receive a lot of contacts through nights, and now this number has decreased significantly. And fourth, to improve the agent motivation and his tasks. And this angle was really important to us because solving the same questions over and over again can be quite boring. And we prefer that the agent is focused on solving a real problem and different things, not the same ordinary things. And finally, to obviously improve our customer service experience. So we had really good results with our pilot, and we decided to implement the assistant in every web page. Nowadays, we have almost our market covered with the assistant. This video illustrates how our assistant works. As you can see, you must choose whether you're a buyer, a seller, or other. It's a simple choice, but some users have some difficulties when choosing one. So once you have made your choice, you can start asking to the assistant. You can start, for example, how to buy tickets to a specific event, and the assistant will reply with 3 FAQs. Then you can rate if it was helpful or not, and you can start asking again. You can ask as many times as you want. If you're not satisfied with the answer we have provided you, you can always send us a contact form. But with our assistant, we try to avoid this at all costs. So at the same time that you are typing in the contact form, the assistant will automatically does a match with some of our instant FAQs. And then you can go back to the form or reject it. If you still need to address a very specific issue, you can always start a live chat with a real agent. You will need to present your email and your name. And you will have to choose whether you have already bought or if you want to buy. One will give you a customer service support agent, and the other will give you a salesperson that will help you buy through the web page. Once you've made your decision, you can start a chat with Brian, for example. He's very fast. So, although we have an assistant, we decided to keep the live chat because there are some requests from buyers that need human interaction, and an assistant cannot resolve that yet. So our assistant works kind of a filter to separate big problems that can be solved by a machine, and the simple repetitive issues that are 80% the contacts we have. Once you have ended the conversation, you can actually rate our survey and leave a comment that I will later analyze. So no bad reviews, please. And then you can actually download a copy of the conversation. So let's look at the results we've obtained so far. Since the beginning, we had a really positive self-service rate. Both in Spain and Mexico, almost 84% of our customers found what they were looking for through our assistant. Now, as you can imagine, this had a really positive impact in our inbox and in the chat, particularly on the live chat. We have experienced an 80% reduction of our contacts. Now, this was truly remarkable. It allowed us not only to reduce the resources allocated to this team, but also to provide a better assistance to the customer, because now the agent has more time to deal with one customer, so we can support him better. On the email, we have experienced a 20% average reduction. So it's important to say that we don't have the same level of sales every month. Our company is growing month to month, and it's kind of difficult to draw conclusions when you don't have the same level of sales Each month, more sales means more contacts, more emails, more sessions on the virtual assistant. But although the results were not as astonishing as what happened on the live chat, we were very happy with the results. And what's next? Well, on one hand, when we want to further improve our self-service rate and to optimize our response to our customer needs. In other hand, the next step will certainly introducing an avatar in our Asian-Pacific markets. The overall target with it is create and establish a more natural communication, interaction with the customer through an animated body. The pilot will be Japan, and if everything goes as expected, we'll then implement in every market. So this process meant a huge effort to both participants, to both Ticketbis and Inventa, mostly because we took this opportunity to integrate into one single tool everything, the live chat, the email, the assistant. So we actually learned some things about these subjects. We learned that the knowledge base is the key component to any successful assistant. If you don't work on your FAQs, if you don't know what your client is going to ask you, and if you don't know how to reply with simple answers, the assistant will not be successful. Second, we learned that it's really important to find the model of assistant that suits you the best. Do you have multiple type customers like we do? If yes, you need to find one version that can solve both questions. We also learned that the web page needs to be adapted to the assistant, not the other way around. If it needs to, the web page needs to be redesigned so that the assistant can reach its full potential. It does no good if you have an assistant, but the client can easily find it. Fourth, and this was really important to us, you have to take in consideration the cultural difference in countries that might seem very similar in linguistics. For example, in Spain and Mexico. What the Mexican client asks is not necessarily the same thing that the Spanish client is asking, although the language might seem very, very similar. So this needs to be taken into account when creating your knowledge base. And finally, the self-service rate needs to be followed continuously. You need to know which FAQs are not solving your customers' questions.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that you started with an instant message sort of a model for the dialogue, and you're now moving to avatar. Now, how will that differ in the customer experience, and why are you making that move?
In Japan, we feel like this type of customer really like these type of things, and we want to establish a more natural communication with the user. It's the overall target to it.
And will that bring voice along, or it's
no,
okay.
Voice no. For now, we're not thinking about it.
And you noted that you retooled the web as opposed, to suit what the agent is asking rather than the other way around. Is that your method for sort of refining answers, or perhaps adding new topics as you look at the traffic of questions coming in?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
I'm just wondering what you said that the knowledge base is and context are crucial.
Yeah.
And that you decided which questions to answer based on the number of calls.
Okay.
But will you observe like changes in the patterns of the questions being asked, and therefore change the way that the answers are presented in the web?
Yeah, because we actually analyze this weekly, and we try to adapt and to create new FAQs to what the customer is asking. We try to do that. If you have a sufficient amount of questions, yes, we will create new facts. If not, we'll leave it that way.
And more questions from later.
Are you thinking about, at any point, integrating with some of the more complex knowledge that's already available? Things like being able to answer the question, what is the price of this ticket, or what should the price of this ticket be, or, can I get a concert ticket for Elton John or something?
Yeah, we are thinking about it, involving and do stuff like that. But because we had started in December, we didn't get to that part. We want to implement in every web page and then start evolving and do something new.
Because I can see that being a lot more of a much better user experience.
Yeah.
Just the general questions that I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more.
Just real quick, I was interested in, you had said it's important to find an experience that represents the brand, and then you have two types of customers. I guess you were talking about the buyers and the sellers.
Yeah.
So can you explain just a little bit about what characteristics of the intelligent assistant, what they are that help it represent, itself to both customer types?
I was talking about the box, the assistant box. You need to work in this kind of box if you have more than one type of customer. In our case, we have buyers, seller, other, and then the user has to choose if he already bought or if you want to buy. And you have to create this kind of thing so that the assistant can easily respond to every side, to every user, I guess.
Well, very good. That's very impressive. Thank you very much.